to Veteran Voice. Our guest today is the former state commander of the Veterans of Foreign Wars. In fact, he just finished up his tour of duty, shall I say, in the last 3 or 4 days, and I'll let him explain that to you. Mr. Mike Penney. Mike, welcome to the program.
Glad to be here, Larry.
Thank you for coming out today. We're going to talk about some veterans issues today, primarily the budget for the upcoming budget for veterans and the situation that it seems to propose and what the viewers might be able to do and what veterans can do as individuals and as organizations to help that situation along. I'd like to start by having you go ahead and give us your a little bit of background on you. You're entering the military, how long you stayed, and then your involvement in the Veterans of Foreign Wars. Just a little bit of brief background about yourself, if you would.
Well, I'm a graduate of South Marshall High School in 1970, and in 1972 I joined the 101st Airborne Division. I was a paratrooper with them, and I stayed for the next 22 years. During those 22 years, I served 3 years in Berlin, behind the Iron Curtain. I served in Desert Storm in Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and Kuwait. And my last tour for combat was in Somalia. From there, I came back, retired in '94, and in '98 I joined the VFW here at Paducah, Post 1191. Served 2 years as quartermaster there, 3 years as commander, and I began to get really involved in the VFW, and I've been in the state chairs, the state surgeon and junior vice, senior vice, and last year I was the state commander. And at this election, the convention that we had last weekend, I was elected as the National 7th District Council member representing both Kentucky and Tennessee, approximately 80,000 veterans and ladies auxiliary members of the Veterans of Foreign Wars.
So you're going to continue to climb upward in the organization of the Veterans of Foreign Wars?
I hope so.
Do you have aspirations of possibly being the national commander someday?
Yes, I do. Maybe in about 6 years I'll see if I have a chance at going for that.
Well, we certainly are proud of you and all that you've accomplished and what you did as state commander here in Paducah, or here in Kentucky, and we're all very proud of you, and you know that you've got our support. We'll be behind you 100%.
Thank you.
I think that's primarily because of your involvement at the level you are now at the VFW is why we wanted to have you on the program to talk a little bit about the veterans budget. You've been able to attend quite a bit of meetings in Washington, D.C. or at the upper echelon. Could you go ahead, and I know it's almost like where do you start, but could you give us just an outline or synopsis of what we're up against as far as veterans issues?
Well, I'll start off with what the administration proposed, and they proposed a $310 million increase from fiscal year 05 through fiscal year 06 for the Veterans Administration budget, which is about a 1.2% increase. Now, the Secretary of Defense, Secretary of Veterans Affairs, says that we need to do a 12 to 14% increase just to maintain our present standard of medical treatment for our veterans throughout the United States and throughout the world. And here we are at a recommended budget of 1.2%, and VA is saying we need at least 12 to 14%. And the reason I guess it's increased that much is since 1999 or 1996 through 2004, the VA enrollment has increased 134%. VA enrollment has increased 134%, while VA funding has only increased 60%. So you can see there is a tremendous offset there where the money is not keeping up with the needs of our veterans. On the 23rd of June, the Secretary of Veterans Affairs announced that they had under-budgeted this budget by $1 billion. One B with a billion. $1 billion.
It's a little bit short.
The budget is, the 05 budget was $29 billion, and the administration recommended right at $30 billion, and the VA is now saying that they were $1 billion short to start off with. So the 1.2 is not. It wouldn't even cover what the VA says we need to start off with. The independent budget, which is a group of several of the veterans organizations throughout the United States, says that the budget needs to be about $3.4 billion more than what the administration has requested. $3.4 billion more than what they requested. So we've got a big fight on our hands. And originally, with the first proposed budget, our veterans that are in Category 7 and 8, they were going to have to pay a $250 annual enrollment fee, and money would go back in to help pay for our own treatment. Now, you've got to pay in to help pay for your own treatment, to help offset the deficit that this nation has, and that's not right. I mean,
now what is Category 7 and 8? If you could explain to the viewers what.
Well, there's 8 categories in the Veterans Administration. Category 7 and 8 is 7. They are the veterans that are not service-connected injuries, and veterans that make their threshold of income is higher than what the VA says is necessary for you to receive treatment.
Okay.
And the exact dollar amount on that, I don't know it, but that's your 7 and 8 categories, and they would have to pay the $250 annual enrollment fee, and they would also have to. They were going to jump their copay for medication from $7 to $15, more than doubling it, and just on this year alone, more than doubling it. Last year, VA would not treat Category 8 and would not enroll them. They stopped the enrollment of them because of lack of funds. We're getting in a desperate situation with the VA budget, and we've got to talk to our senators and representatives and let them know that we can't continue this way. We have to take care of those that gave us our freedoms that we have today. That's what we have to do.
So the actual proposed budget for this year is already $1 billion short, so we're a lap late getting started in the race before we even get started.
Yeah. The independent budget, they said we needed $3.4 billion more than what the administration had asked for, and the Secretary of Veterans Affairs had talked with the administration, the president, his office, and come find out they'd short-sighted themselves over $1 billion. So we're way off key on this budget.
We're way out of balance.
Way out.
Okay, I know that there's isn't there a new committee that's been formed to make recommendations to the Congress as far as what they think they can do to, quote, streamline the VA or?
The CARES Commission. The CARES Commission was established about 3 years ago to, just like the BRAC system in the military, that the Pentagon has to deal with closing bases and stuff like that. The CARES Commission has evaluated all of the veterans administrations throughout the world, and is trying to make it more cost effective, because we've of course, VA is the largest medical care system in the United States, and we have hospitals out there that the beds are not being used, and so on and so forth. So that was the right thing to do, to get the CARES Commission in force and make the recommendations to Congress on how to realign the veterans care system. And we are coming up on a close on that, and at the end of last September, it was sent to the Secretary of Veterans Affairs, Principi, and now Principi has gone out of office, and Secretary Nichols has taken over, and so we're on track with the CARES Commission, and that is a good thing that we have that, and it has assisted us, and it's helped us in this area, which we just got the new VA clinic here in Paducah. Instead of going over to the one there at the National Guard Armory. We have a beautiful facility over there, but it's undermanned. We need more doctors there, and we need more staff there. I was over there about 3 weeks ago, and the whole time I was in there, for about 45 minutes or so, sitting waiting to see the doctor, the phone was just continuously ringing off the hook. As fast as the secretaries could answer the phone, it was ringing again. So they've got to properly fund. We've got the beautiful building. Now we have to properly fit it with the nurses and doctors and stuff.
It's like having a half a dozen race cars and enough drivers to put out 2 of them.
That's right.
Okay,
yep.
So, and something you and I had talked about earlier, and it kind of goes without saying that we know that the budget is way, way low. And something else that I think needs to be taken into consideration is the number of soldiers that are going to be coming back and getting out of the military and becoming veterans who are going to be disabled in one way or another. Either I know they're single, double, triple amputees, quadriplegics in Afghanistan and Iraq, and the situation looks like it's ongoing. We don't know how long that's going to last, so it's going to be more people that are going to be coming into the system that are desperately going to be needing help and benefits. And if something doesn't give, then there's just not going to be enough money there to take care of these young men and women.
With the modern technology, Larry, we are able to save lives, but we're losing limbs, and the traumatic experience that our soldiers are exposed to has increased. Used to they were just killed. We're saving their lives now, but we're losing the limbs, and the trauma that they have been exposed to is tremendous. And we have to be thinking in the future to be able to provide care for those soldiers. And part of this budget this year, the administration cut research for the prosthesis and stuff. The federal government, the VA, is the leading entity in prosthesis development for the world. Our VA is, and they were cut. We cannot stand for that. We've got to make sure that our senators and representatives know that they have to change our budget, so that we can continue on taking care of our veterans after they've went over there and fought and gave us the right to do what we want to do back here. Now, in Kentucky, we have an estimated 360,000 veterans in Kentucky. And right now we have 2,800 National Guard and reservists that are from Kentucky serving over in Iraq and Iran. Yes, and these boys and girls are going to be coming back, and they're going to need assistance. And this nation has got to be there for them. We've got to be able to provide that assistance when they come back and they need it.
As I understand from talking to other veterans, other people, and you, that one of the problems that's been this way for years is that VA funding falls under discretionary spending. So it's up to the Congress each year to get the budget for the VA, but it is discretionary funding, so it's not fixed. It's not mandated that they have to come up with a certain amount of money. They can pretty much make the budget whatever the Congress wants to make it. Is that correct?
That is correct. The administration makes the proposal. Congress dictates. They pass it as to how much money will be provided for the Veterans Administration. And this is the first year that the administration proposal has been so low. It's been in 10 years. This is the lowest amount proposed by an administration in 10 years, and that's really hurting. We've got that because we're starting off here. Used to we'd start off here and we only had to get to here. Now this year we're way down here and we've still got to get up to here. So it's going to be a hard fight. And recently Congress had voted a $990 million increase. So as I was saying a while ago about the Category 7 and 8 veterans have to pay the $250 enrollment, they've already chopped that off the block. They're not going to have to do that. And as I understand it, hopefully they have stopped the doubling of the copay from 7 to 15 with that $990 million increase. But that was done before the administration determined they was $1 billion short. So we may be back at ground zero on all of this. We don't know.
Oh my goodness. What can we do? I know that that Congress is going to be responsible for that. Is there anything that veterans or individual citizens can do to maybe have an influence on this, to contact our representatives and let them know? Do you think that'll do any good?
Oh, it's by far. As you said earlier at my introduction, I'd been up to Washington, D.C. I was up there in March, and we went and saw all of our representatives and our 2 senators. And one of the comments that was made to me, I told them they was going to start receiving letters, and we'll talk about this letter here in a second. And the senator said, "I'm waiting to see them." So just calling my bluff. You said you're going to start sending them. Now I'm waiting to see them. So we've got to get on track and get our people out here to voicing their opinion to our senators and our representatives, making sure that they understand what we want, because they are up there to do what we want and not what they want to do. They are our representatives, and we have to tell them what we want them to do. Now, in reference to this letter, the Kentucky Department of Veterans Affairs, which is located in Frankfort, General Beavers is the head man there, and I'd like to read this letter that he put out, if I may.
Sure.
It says the proposed fiscal year '06 budget for the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs includes a revision of eligibility requirements for federal per diem benefits. Now, the federal explain the federal per diem benefits is what the federal government pays each of our nursing homes for the veterans that are in the nursing homes. Okay, this revision would make nearly 85% of our current residents ineligible for per diem. 85%. Resulting in a projected loss of $11 million annual revenue to Kentucky. The budget would also impose a moratorium on federal grants to fund construction and renovation of state veterans homes, leaving our $1.1 million Phase 2 renovation of our state veteran home in Wilmore, which is right outside of Lexington, without the 65% matching funds from the federal administration. The federal buildings for our nursing homes and stuff like that, 65% of that is paid by the federal government. We pay, the state of Kentucky, the residents of Kentucky pay the other 35%. Now, we have Phase 2 renovation there going on at Wilmore, and if this moratorium is not raised, it's going to sit there partially fixed and uninhabitable. So, I mean, we're in a dilemma here. State veterans homes are the largest provider of long-term care to veterans in the United States. Kentucky State Veterans Homes in Hazard, which is in eastern Kentucky, Wilmore outside of Lexington, and Hanson right up here outside of Madisonville, care for over 500 aging and infirm veterans. Kentucky taxpayers have supported the homes through the state share of construction costs with an understanding that the federal government would continue to make its contribution through per diems, payments, and construction grants. Okay. When they said they would help us build these, it was also the condition that they would continue with a per diem to help pay for the internment of our veterans in there. The federal government should continue to fulfill its commitment to Kentucky State Veterans Homes, which ultimately care for our most disabled, aging veterans in their final years. 85% of the 500, that's 425. That would leave 75 veterans in our nursing homes, in those 3 nursing homes, if this budget is not corrected. 425 of our veterans in these 3 nursing homes would be kicked out because they could not continue to run. They wouldn't have the money to do it. 425 of our most aged and disabled veterans would be put out on the street.
So after all they've given and the sacrifices that they've made, they're going to come out of there. Some of them probably have no families, no relatives possibly, and they're just out on their own.
Out on their own.
That is absolutely despicable. It's unheard of.
We cannot allow this to happen.
No.
Cannot allow this to happen.
So the VA budget is going to affect the nursing homes. It's going to affect the elderly and disabled veterans, the guys who have got their disabilities now, who may be middle-aged or a little past middle-aged like myself.
A little past middle, yes.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And plus, not to mention all the young veterans that are going to be coming back with all the psychological and physical disabilities that they're going to have to contend with. It's going to touch everybody in the entire system with this budget being the way it is.
Larry, you've got disability coming to you right now.
Yes.
If this budget is not improved, you may not be. We'll say, I'm guessing, if you got 100% disability, if we do not have the funds to pay that 100% disability, you may be your disability may be reduced to 50%, 70%. If the money's not there, they can't do it. And the federal government is the one that provides the money for the disability of our veterans.
So there may be veterans out there who have already got, let's say, for example, 100%, and they're not able to work. They're unemployable for one reason or another. And they've been that way for years, and they may be sitting back and they're getting by okay, and they don't think that they've got a worry in the world. But the truth of the matter is that if things don't change in this budget, they may not think that their ox is going to get gored, but they could receive a letter someday saying, well, your benefits, instead of being this amount of dollars, has been reduced by $500 or $600 per month.
Very well may happen. Come back in for a reevaluation, and we're going to have to reduce your benefits.
So instead of getting a cost of living raise every year, they're liable to find out that they're getting less than what they did when they were declared disabled. So this touches not only elderly veterans and coming back veterans, those veterans who are receiving benefits now and receiving their health care and receiving their medication could suddenly find themselves in a different classification, to where it's going to, they're not only going to have less money to spend for themselves, they're going to have to start paying for some of the care that they're receiving at no charge now from the VA hospitals and clinics.
Very true.
So I think this is the point where we need to encourage viewers, especially veterans, but not just veterans. You've heard me say before that being a good patriot is more than just showing up on election day and voting. We have certain representatives in the Congress and the Senate who have gotten themselves into positions where they feel that they're going to vote what their conscience and their mind tells them to do, and not necessarily represent those of us who put them there, which you and I agree is wrong. I mean, I can understand why they have their personal feelings without getting into naming any names, but they are our representatives. We put them there. If we do not contact them and tell them what we want them to do, then they're going to do what they feel in their mind is right.
They will do what they think is best for you. Don't tell me what you think is best for me. Let me tell you what I think is best for me. And as my representative, that's where you need to vote. That's what people in Kentucky, the people across the United States has to do right now. Is we have to get in touch with our congressmen and our representatives and senators and explain to them that this budget is not good. It is no good for our veterans. They went and they fought for us. They gave us our freedoms that we have today, and it's our responsibility to take care of them.
So we're not only appealing to veterans today, we're appealing to people that might be friends of veterans, families of veterans, or just people that like to fly the flag and stand up and put their hand over their heart during the national anthem. There's more that they can do. And if the veterans of this country ever needed them, they need them right now to pick up the telephone or sit down and write a letter. You know, there's a part of me that wants to just make them angry enough to do that, but I don't want to resort to that yet. You know, if we have to, that's what we'll do. I'm hoping that common sense will take over and show them that the men and women who have fought for this country and given them the freedoms and liberties that they enjoy every single day without a second thought, these gentlemen are about to find themselves in deep peril, and that if somebody doesn't do something, then it's not the way you treat a warrior. You don't forget about him after you've used him up. You don't throw him away. So I'm going to encourage all of the viewers, whether they know a veteran or not, especially, I mean, veterans and families of veterans, it should go without saying that they need to get active in their community, in any of the veterans organizations that they choose to be in. They need to join whatever veterans organization they're eligible to be in, because the strength is in the numbers. But besides that, we need to back up what you told them. We need to be getting letters and phone calls into these people, because I would venture to say a lot of the people on the Veterans Committee are probably not veterans themselves. Some of them maybe, I don't honestly know.
This Congress is one of the smallest number of veterans representing us that has been in years. There's very few senators and representatives in this Congress that has ever saw combat or served in the military.
So you've got a lot of non-veterans making decisions for veterans.
Absolutely. A while ago, you brought up the fact about the American flag. And if I may,
Yeah.
The flag amendment is coming back up, and what this amendment would do, it would make it physical desecration of the United States flag. This amendment would make it against the law to do that. Physical desecration of the flag. Right now, the House has approved it 286 to 130. The House of Representatives approved it. We need 2/3 of the Senate to approve this, and right now, and that's 67 senators have to approve it. Right now, we need two more. We have 65 senators that has approved this, or is going to vote to approve it. We need to get on the, that flag. Every veteran has fought for that flag. That's the one thing that you have. And if you saw the story of the senator from Arizona,
John
McCain, he was talking about the prisoner there with him at Hanoi Hilton making the flag out of a T-shirt, and then they found it and they took that's in your heart. That's what I mean. That's something to grasp. That's in your heart, and to have it desecrated, it's uncomprehendable to me. I know that the First Amendment gives you the right to do a lot of things, but I don't believe that it should be to desecrate our flag.
So we've got it through the Congress finally, but we lack 2 senators. And I know that from talking to you previously, and I'll be the one to go ahead and jump out on the limb, Bunning is supporting this amendment, McConnell is not.
In the past, McConnell has not supported this amendment, and ladies and gentlemen, we need to be there and let him know what your opinion is of that issue is, and he needs to get on board with the rest of Americans and support this amendment and make it against the law to desecrate our flag.
I agree. Well, if we didn't hit a nerve with the veterans budget, then maybe we touched a nerve here at the end with the flag desecration. Because I agree. My freedom of speech is important to me, but I don't feel that I have to destroy what was the burial shroud for a lot of my friends to get my point across. And I think that it's time for the public, like I say, to be a good patriot. If you show up on election day, it's the old, if you don't vote, you can't gripe. What I'm saying is, even if you didn't vote, your voice can still be heard. I believe that the Channel 2 is going to run the names of our 2 senators and our representative here in Western Kentucky. For those veterans and people in Southern Illinois, they should be able to find out who their representatives and senators are. And I would urge everyone at this point, anyone, whether you've got a mom, a dad, sister, brother, or just a friend, or even if you just feel respect for veterans, start getting some letters going. Get on your computers, get on the internet, email your representatives, let them know how you feel. Don't be abusive and don't be aggressive, but be firm and let them know that this is just not right. There's things going on that need to be taken care of, and that this is their job. That's what we put them there for, and that's what they need to do.
Next Monday, we're celebrating 229 years of freedom, and that freedom was was bought with the blood of our veterans. We need the people of this nation to stand up for our veterans now and make sure that they are treated with the medical care and the respect that they deserve.
Mike, I agree. It's certainly we owe a great deal to our veterans, and this is a chance for the citizens to stand up and show that they are good patriots. So I'd like to, again, thank you for being on the program. I want to encourage everyone to please contact your elected representatives. Talk to your family and friends. Let's get this out in the open and talk about it and see what we can help the veterans. So I want to thank you for joining us for this show, and I hope that you will continue to view Veterans Voice, and thank you for stopping by.